down. Right. Start with the C&T contact details. I'm the Managing Director of C&T Associates, who is delivering this presentation. And we've got a range of contact information there. I'm on LinkedIn if anybody wants to link in with me. My name is Gary Parker for anybody who's just joined, and all our other or most of our, should I say, most of our other social media is there. We also have a YouTube channel, which I would advise you to watch. There's 45 presentations on it from myself and my colleagues, ranging from support for women-led businesses to funding for health and social care projects and everything in between. Of course, there's a lot of funding programs on there as well, but please like and subscribe if you like it, because this is a resource that you can utilize beyond this presentation and any programs that you're on. All our other contact details are there. This is a bit more about me. C&T Associates is a business support and fundraising organization. We also provide a range of digital services as well. The company's been going since 2003, and we've raised over £30 million for our clients. It's probably more than that, actually, but this is an estimate. Some of our other contact details are there again if you want to know more about what we do and how we can help you. We do a lot of business support work. I'm working with some of you at the moment, helping people develop and set up businesses and non-profit making organizations. And we also do a lot of work around fundraising. We write bids and applications. We work with others. We run training. I'm going to be doing a workshop on how to write a funding application at the beginning of December, which is not too far away. So you can register for that very, very soon. If you're on our mailing list, you'll get it, the link to it via our normal email message. And it's like this one, of course, it is free as well. So we'll start with my top funding sites. If you're new to this or inexperienced, there are two elements to fundraising. The first is you need to know where the funding is, because if you can't find any funders to apply to, or you find difficulty doing that, then your range of applications is going to be very, very limited. So one of the things I would suggest is that you look at the first link. You can do a customized search on that. That's got a lot of government funds on that, and potential funding you can apply for. You can do a customized search. The second one, and especially if you're a non-profit, Funding Central is a long-established site. And it's got up to 4,000 funding sources on that. There is a paywall on that, but you can look at the funds, and you can get a registration for it. It's a self-declaration, because they do charge some organisations for it, but you have to have a reasonable income. If you're below that income, you may well get the service for free. Let's look at one or two other ones. The Entrepreneur's Handbook, I would recommend that. I looked at it the other day. That's got approximately 60 pages of grant and loan funding throughout the UK. The final one I'd like to highlight is Grants Online. Again, that's got a paywall on it, but you can look at the actual funds themselves. and you can always search them via Google, because it's basically a click through, but you do get to find out the name of the fund. I mean, again, we've got a subscription to that. It's a very good site, but you can see most of the actual funds online. You just can't click through to the websites or the other links of the funders, but you can search for them separately. Finally, your local authority website is always a good place to start. They're always the same. It's in this case where we are, bexley.gov.uk, but wherever you are, it's the name of your area.gov.uk, and look for search for business support on the website, and you'll probably find some links there. So there's some places to start, and that's the first part of the funding. If you want to know how to actually write a bid or what the main elements of bid writing are, I'm running that workshop at the beginning of December that I'd already mentioned. So the next link here is the National Business Support Helpline. This is a national line. What they will do is they will probably refer you to an organisation called Grow London, who can give you some support. But if you're looking for fundraising, they may well refer you back to us at local level. But they do provide a range of other support, because it is a business support helpline. It just doesn't concentrate on fundraising, but other things as well. So that's always useful to know. And the website address is there as well. Let's look at some more specific support. I'm not going to go through all of these. I'll point a couple out. You can check them out yourself. Enterprise Nation, the one at the bottom, is always an interesting one. That is Britain's biggest private business support organisation. They have a startup business event every year, usually in January or February, which is a very big event with a lot of speakers. I'm an advisor to Enterprise Nation myself, and they've got lots of other experts on hand to help you. And they run a lot of very good online support and training. So I would recommend that. The other one here, this is for non-profits and charities in the main, is Charity Excellence. That's got a lot of charitable grant funders on that site, and you can search through them. It is free as well. Enterprise Nation, you can look at the website for free, but it's a membership organisation, so you do have to pay. Here is another general fund. It's for the government's finance hub, which is supported by the Department for Business, Energy and Industrial Strategy. Again, it's worth having a look at that. It does depend on which sector you're in, what support and funding is available, but you can do a search on that. Here are some new funding links, or newish funding links. This is a very good link, how to apply for a grant. I'd recommend you look at that. That's from startups.co.uk. Here is another link from the British Business Bank. This was a bank set up by the government during the pandemic, and it helped a lot of businesses get support and loan funds like the Bounce Back Fund. But there's also a range of other finance support on there. They've got a finance hub. It is government supported, and I would recommend you look through that to see if there's anything that might support you. A lot of it is loan funding though, so you should just be aware of that. But they do give you information about other grants that are available. And for anybody who doesn't know, the difference between a grant and a loan is a grant is not repayable as long as you stick to the terms and conditions. A loan, of course, is repayable. Again, Simply Business do a very good article there about small business grants. And finally, this is not as prominent as it was a while back. This is energy-related grants and schemes, but these have been reduced. But this is from Ofgem, which is the organisation that supposedly manages energy companies' costs. So it is worth a look at for some of you, but it depends what your business does. Let's look at some regional support now. I'll not go through all of these, but I'll just pick out two. One is the London Business Hub. This is now run by an organisation called Grow London, which is managed by London and Partners, which is a big support agency supported by the Greater London Authority. And they do provide a range of support to people. Depending on where you are, you may get referred back to a local advisor on funding. If you're in parts of South East London, you may get referred back to us. It does depend what your needs are. The other one I would mention is Newable. This used to be called Greater London Enterprise, and they provide quite a range of support and potential access to funding for a number of organisations. They've tended in recent years to support tech businesses and projects, but they do support and give advice to other types of businesses and sole traders. Look at their website for further information on that. And they do manage a lot of premises. In fact, they've got an event next week where you can go and look at some of the premises, and they're having a reception there. I think that's on the 26th of September. So if you look on the site, you may even be able to go to that if you're interested in business premises as well. We've got a lot of women on the call today. So this, and indeed CNT, 60% of its clients are women-led businesses. So we try and provide a range of specific support that supports women-led businesses. And this is a good place to start. This is a link from startups.uk about support groups and resources for female entrepreneurs. I'd recommend that. I'd already mentioned the British Business Bank. They provide some very good articles and business essentials for female entrepreneurs, and also information about support and mentoring. So that's definitely worth having a look at. Here is another one. This is the Fredericks Foundation. The Fredericks Foundation is a charity. It's been around for 50 or 60 years. So it is a well-established organization. They used to have a very specific women's business loan fund. And they had about £2 million in that. All that money's been distributed now. So they've not got that specific fund, but they have got a number of other funds. These are loans, and they provide funding to businesses that have a viable business plan, but who've been turned down by a conventional lender. So if you've been to a high street bank and being turned down for a loan, you can always try the Fredericks Foundation. The one thing I would say about this is that the last time I checked, the rate of interest was quite high. So obviously you have to check that. There may be other lenders that you can access, but you can check the information out on their website. You can get loans of up to £15,000 for startups. and follow-up loans of up to £35,000 to support growth. But you do have to have a viable business plan for that. So keep that in mind. And there's the website address at the bottom. Here is another funder, Innovate UK. Innovate UK is one of the UK's biggest tech funders. It's heavily supported by the government, and they have a range of programs. They change quite regularly, so please check the site there for details. But one thing that is continuing is the so-called Smart Grants program, which is 25,000 to £3 million in grants. But they don't give you the full amount. They give you a percentage of it, which varies. So you do have to provide some of the funding yourself on the Smart Grants program. On other programs, you may not have to do that. They have got some programs to support female tech entrepreneurs, and as far as I'm aware, they don't have that contributory element that the Smart Grants program does. But there are other programs on that, so you need to check the website out. Last time I checked, they had 10 current opportunities on that site, and obviously I haven't got the time to go through all of them today. But again, for some of you, this is definitely worth checking out. This is the last one on this section. I think this is the Global Fund for Women. This is a program. It's a US-based fund. It's very well funded. It's been around for many years, and it supports any woman-led organization, basically. And it doesn't matter if you're a charity, a business, or indeed an individual. But the programs do vary, and they operate worldwide. They may not be operating in Europe at the moment, but they operate in other parts of the world. But we do have a lot of people on these calls with links with other parts of the world. So where are they funding? In parts of Eastern Europe, Latin America, Asia, Africa, and a number of other locations. And you can get potential very significant funding potentially from the Global Fund for Women. Anybody interested in that should check it out. We're going to go back to a range of general support now. Sorry, I'll just go back one slide. I did mention this earlier. This is the London Business Hub, which is now supported by an organisation called Grow London Local. It's kind of a digital platform, and you can get advice and support via this. The mission is to help small and micro businesses to thrive in the capital by providing expert business support. And you get a number of benefits from that, as well as an Enterprise Nation membership, potentially, which I didn't realise. So that may be worth checking out for some of you as well. Now I'm going to say a little bit about crowdfunding. There's basically two different types of crowdfunding. I'll do crowdfunding in 2 minutes, which is always a challenge. There's basically two types, as I said. One is kind of Dragon's Den type investment. And the two best known proponents that I'm aware of, because there's certainly quite a few of these around, is one called Cedars, which is an American-based one, who invests money on behalf of investors. So it's kind of like Dragon's Den type investment. An investor will invest through Cedars and through Cedars recommendations into a business or project. And they've already, I mean, I suspect this figure has been long exceeded because I put it there quite a while ago. And they help you access funding through a bank of investors, basically, just like in Dragon's Den. But of course, they get a share of your business because it's at-risk funding. If the business flourishes, then they've got a share of something that's you know worth money. If it doesn't succeed, then their investment is at risk. But there are terms and conditions. I spoke to somebody a while back, and of course I was running in Bromley, who'd been supported by Cedars, and I asked them what the support was like, and they said it was very good because they're such a big organisation that if they take you on, they don't want it to fail, partly because it might reflect on them and indeed on their investors as well. So they give you a lot of support. The British equivalent of that is Crowdcube, which was owned by Richard Branson's Virgin Group. I think they might have sold that. I could be wrong, but I heard that they'd sold that a while back. But that's still there. And it's a very similar type of organization. They have a range of funders who will invest in projects, and you put your project on a website so people can see it, and you might also make a video as well. Probably the most applicable one for people on this call is crowdfunder.co.uk, and this supports both non-profit making organizations and profit-making organizations. How it works, if you're a non-profit, I don't think you have to pay any commission at the moment, because what they do is you'll put a project online and a video, and you'll have a target, say £5,000. If you reach that target, then they will forward it to you because they hold the funding pledges minus their commission, which if you're a business will be between 4 and 9%. There are different models of crowdfunding though, so I haven't got time to go into this today, but if anybody wants to know more about that, I'll be happy to talk to them. And you can, I've got a slide about crowdfunding next, I think. You can, of course, as well, look at a range. You can offer people rewards as part of your program. For example, if you're an arts or creative business, you can offer people prints or pictures, depending on how much they're willing to contribute or donate to your project. But I think the best thing to do is to look at crowdfunder.co.uk if you're interested in this, and then search for similar projects to yours, whatever it is, and see how much money they're raising. Then you'll know whether it's viable for your particular project as well, or you'll certainly get some indication. The other one I mentioned here is Kickstarter.com. This was originally for creative industries. It's an American-based site, but it's now become international, and they do have businesses on that as well. And again, the principle is the same. You put a presentation online, you make a video as well, and they give you lots of tools to help you do this on all of these platforms, because obviously it's in their interest that you succeed, because they will get commission or other funding if you do. So they are very helpful. But the other thing I would say about this is you've got to publicize it yourself. You've got to drive traffic towards the site if you're on Crowdfunder, because if people don't know about it, of course, they won't be able to contribute, or they'll find it difficult to contribute. So there are a number of elements about this which I'll be happy to talk to people about offline. Here is Crowdfunder, a bit more about this. This is what they say. This is taken from their website. They have access to relevant and extra funding. What that means is they've got in certain sectors that they partner with other organisations, and whatever you raise, they might match it. The Greater London Authority had a programme during the pandemic. If you raise £5,000, the Greater London Authority matched that money. So you could get up to £10,000, and this is a similar principle. They've got other organizations they work with. You can offer rewards, and you can access free coaching and support. So well worth checking out if you're interested in crowdfunding. Here is another one. This is for the non-profits amongst you. It's an organization called Unlimited. I mean, their programs have been around for a number of years, at least 10 years that I can remember. But they have kind of changed over the years. If you're a new social enterprise, you can get a grant of up to £5,000. And if you're an existing one to grow, you can get grants of up to £15,000. But some of that money is made up by commissioning consultancy support. So you don't get all of it in cash for some of it, but I think particularly for the growth bit of it, for the grants, you may well get a much larger proportion. I've been helping organizations access this for a number of years. About 10 years ago, I helped a photography project called Eye for Change get some money, and they're still going strong. They're a Greenwich-based organization, well worth checking out. It's a community photography project, which I would really recommend. Unlimited are the organization that manage this awards program, and these days they're saying they're committed to 50% of their funding going towards Black, Asian, and minority ethnic social entrepreneurs and or disabled social entrepreneurs. And your project must have a real social impact, fulfill a clear need and demand, and have clear outputs and goals. So there are a number of terms and conditions that you have to fulfill on that. Have a look at the website for the current ones. But as I say, this was true at the time of writing, but maybe subject to change because their terms and conditions change quite regularly. Here, again, this is a community project award. This is in areas that have landfill operators, and they've got grants of up to 10,000, from 10,000 to 75,000 pounds. Whether you're eligible depends on your geographic location. So if you want to know whether you're eligible, go onto the site and you can click onto, you put your postcode in, and then basically they will tell you whether you're eligible or not. I'm going to look at some support now for Black, Asian, and minority ethnic businesses. Here's a few. The first one, I think this is either just taken place or will take place very shortly, which is the Black Tech Fest, which is obviously a technology event which supports Black, Asian, and minority ethnic entrepreneurs in this area and showcases innovation. So again, for some of you, that's really worth checking out. And their activities have expanded in the past few years. They've got a weekly podcast and other related activities well worth checking out. This is the Creative Business Support Program. Again, you need to check this out because programs like this are subject to change and budget limitations. This is a creative growth finance program which provides loans between 100,000 and 1 million to UK businesses in the creative industries. Check that link out for more information. This is the BA Better World Community Fund. BA, of course, is an airline. This is a crowdfunding program, but you can get funding of up to £50,000, and they focus on a range of support for women around STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and maths. I'm glad I remembered that because I often forget it. And also for some wellbeing projects. Again, you need to check the website out because that's another that is subject to change. This is a network for Black, Asian, and minority ethnic entrepreneurs in arts and creative industries, and they provide a range of support, and it's a kind of networking group as well. Again, for some of you, that's well worth checking out. The link is there. We'll go on to a range of other supports now, including charitable trusts and some government supports and private sector agencies. This is for the non-profits amongst you. You can, City Bridge Trust is a very big charitable trust based in the City of London. And you can get grants up to £100,000. So if you're a non-profit or a charity, you should be checking that out. It focuses around a number of areas, so it's not every sector or area of support, but check the website out for the latest details. Again, this is subject to change, but City Bridge Trust is a very big funder. Here's another interesting one. This is the Wellcome Trust. The Wellcome Trust is the biggest funder in the UK, the biggest charitable trust funder, because they distribute at the moment up till 2030. They're going to distribute about 700 to 800 million a year. So that's a lot of money. Unusually for a charitable trust, any type of organization or indeed individuals can apply for some of their programs. So you can be a business, a sole trader, a company, a non-profit making organization. Subject to the particular projects that they're supporting. But they're very interested in issues around health and health research. This is a previous program. I don't think this is currently running, but this is a good illustration of what they're doing. The funding is for health-related research and science, which in this particular case, it was using any creative methodology, e.g. film, art, digital media, drama, animation, etc. And the grants range from 5,000 to 3 million. They're particularly interested in mental health and well-being. I think at the moment there's a strand of that, but there's also other strands. But you need to check out the website because these priority areas of the Wellcome Trust do change quite frequently. And you should look at these and do a bit more research on the site or contact them directly. The Entrepreneur's Handbook, I mentioned this a little bit earlier. Just a bit more about this. This is a comprehensive list of UK business grants on this programme. And you can go through this and search for particular support. It is UK wide, so but you do need to research this a bit more. But again, it is a free platform, and it gives a lot of other really good advice on supporting and developing a business. So I would really recommend it. I had a look at this again the other day, and the website is very good in my opinion. So well worth a look at. This is the government's grants hub. Again, you can do a customized search on this for a range of government grants, and it does cover most sectors as well in terms of government grants, which includes grants for the non-profit making organizations, so charities and community interest companies or companies limited by guarantee, for example. And then there's grants for individual business and service sectors. And finally, grants for the main charitable sectors as well. So again, it's not as comprehensive as some of the other ones, but you can do a customized search on this quite easily. For anybody who's interested in charitable trust funding, you can. There's still about 5 billion a year out there in grants given out. That's not going to change because most of the organizations giving out this money, for example, like Wellcome Trust, are going to continue to do so because Wellcome Trust is a drug company. You know, they've been busy manufacturing vaccines during the pandemic, so short of money they are not. And there's many other charitable trusts around like that who've got endowments, particularly from people who are very wealthy or affluent. So those will continue, and many of the smaller ones will as well. And then this doesn't actually include the lottery, for example. Lottery funds are separate to this, so there's still a lot out there. But you do need to do your research, and you do need to learn how to write bids if you want to access this funding. Here's a couple of sites. I've already mentioned them previously. Charity Excellence, which is a free site, and Grants Online, which has, excuse me, a paywall on it. So, but you can still see what the funds are, and you can potentially Google search them if you want to do that. So here is another one, the British Library, that we've worked on and off in the past few years. Again, this is a program. I don't think this is running anymore, but they've been running a number of programs in local libraries in recent years, as well as at the main British Library. Those programs are continuing. There's a lot of events online as well. Some are free, some you have to pay for, and they're involved with partnerships at local levels as well, particularly around intellectual property, if you're interested in that. But there's a whole range of other things. You can, there's a link to the Business and IP Centre. They have got a website as well, which is just being rebuilt because they had a very bad hack online last year, which took a long time to deal with. So, but it's back up and running now, and there's a lot of very useful information on that. And if you join, you have to go in person to join. But if you join as a member, you can get access to all their intellectual property, which includes all the other books and intellectual property for free. They've got an advert going around about that at the moment, actually. Here's a couple of clients that we've worked with. I'm not going to talk too much about this, but this just illustrates the kind of work that we do here about CNT. This is Nicole, who's still on our Bexley program. She provided or developed a range of sauces and spicy products, and we helped her with some advice on funding and support. We provided her with some links to a food processing program run by Greenwich University, which is still going. That's actually, it's mainly online, but it's based in Chatham, but they do have a centre there, a food technology centre, which is supporting particularly a lot of plant-based businesses. That's a very good program, and that is free if you're eligible to join. Not everybody's eligible to join, but Nicole's going to join that hopefully soon. So we've helped her with some work around branding and other things as well. This is Joanna Bell. Joanna is runs a number of accountancy firms. We've been helping them to identify and access support to help small businesses that can't get easy access to accounting services, or maybe have to do it themselves and they need support. So that work is still ongoing, and we've been doing some fundraising work with them and identifying funders from various sources. So again, there is my all of my links there if you want to join me. I'm going to stop the share now, and I'm going to take questions from people. So thank you for listening for the last 40 minutes or so. Okay, I'm glad to see a lot of you are still there. Does anybody want to ask me any questions?
Yes. My name is Julie Corian. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Julie. Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I joined in quite late because I had a meeting. Would you be sharing your presentation with everybody who attended the training or the
Yeah,
session?
what we're doing is we're sending uh the slides out to everybody, and it will go on our YouTube channel. I mentioned this at the beginning. You may not have uh,
No, I wasn't
heard it,
there.
but
Sorry.
yeah, but that's okay. I'm just going to take a photograph to remind me of everybody who's been here, so you'll get it sent to you. Um,
Thank you.
but there's already a number of presentations. This is the most updated version. We have to update, so it is there right now, but I forget the last version, probably 3 or 4 months ago, because we update this presentation as regularly as we can, and I expect to be updating it next month as well. So because once the Chancellor has made her speech, no doubt there'll be some new policy initiatives. So we'll know about that. But yes, you will get a copy of the presentation. And if you look on our YouTube channel in about 2 weeks' time, it will probably be up by then. It might be before then, depends whether we have to edit it or not. But the recording seems to be going fine. So yes, we do that. Jenny.
Thank you.
Oh, hi, Gary. Yes. Somebody mentioned to me funding about setting up a CIC, which then allows you to get funding through the National Lottery. Do you know
Yeah,
much about that, or is there anything
yeah,
you can help with that?
yeah. I mean, as some of you may know who are on this call, if you were based in Greenwich, you could join the business support program that we got. So if anybody's based in Greenwich or wants to set up a non-profit, please email us as soon as possible, and we can induct you onto the program, which is running there till the end of March 2025. So you can still join on that now. Jenny, I suggest the next time we meet, we have a conversation about this, and I'll take you through the steps for this. We have got a presentation on this. In fact,
Okay.
if you look on our YouTube channel, right down at the bottom on the homepage, it says featured channel. If you click on that button, that's our non-profit arm, and there's a presentation on how to set up a creative industry social enterprise. But the actual process of setting it up is the same for any type of community interest company or company limited by guarantee. The setup, the way you set it up, is the same for everybody. So that's in the first part. The rest of it may not be as useful, but the first part certainly will be.
Okay.
And
Thanks,
you
Gary.
can
I'll have a look at
do
that.
that. Yeah. Um, any other questions from people? Sorry, from Caroline. Let me just get her. It's in the chat. I just need to access that. I won't be a second. I'm in shared space. What is the best way to contact private companies? For example, developers. Is it worthy just reaching out? If you want to contact developers, that can be quite difficult. What I would suggest you do, because I do have some experience of this, because at one time I worked for a very big community regeneration company that worked with developers. Some of them have networking events. For example, in Greenwich, that I know very well, Berkeley Homes have a business networking event. You're going to have to go onto their site to find out when it runs. It runs on the Royal Arsenal. It was running during the summer. Hopefully, it will be back again. And then the big developer on Greenwich Peninsula, Knights Dragon, have a community networking program, because one of the organizations we work with is Visit Greenwich, and they're a partner of Visit Greenwich, and they've had a number of events, joint events with Visit Greenwich and others, but they do have a community networking event there. So that's your first port of call. If you can find any of those networking events, because they'll be taking place in other locations. If you can't, then contact the developer directly, because they probably get large amounts of emails, and if you can't get through to the right person, then that might be problematic. Most of these usually have community development managers or community engagement managers. That is the person that you want, because they will be dealing with all of these kind of issues and working with other partners. I mean, they're probably called different things. It might be partnership manager, community partnership manager, but try and identify somebody with a community management role of some description, because they're much more likely person to connect with. Somebody's mentioned the 26th of September event. Kelly, I'll have to look that up. I can't access it right now, but it is organised by Newable. It's in central London somewhere, I think, but they have premises all over London. Newable, it's surprising what they own. For example, they own the Oxo Tower, and they own a number of other places. For example, one place I know very well that they apparently own, which is Sainsbury's car park in Eltham. For anybody who knows that, that's probably worth quite a lot of money. They have a number of other kind of property assets. So if you email us, Kelly, we'll send you the details of that. You can still register. The other thing I wanted to say as well is that C&T Associates are running, as part of the programs we run, we're running an event on digital marketing with my colleague Sybil Mayard, that some of you may know, which is next Wednesday, the 25th of September, from 11 till 12. And that's in Erith at the council's offices at Atrium Court. Again, if you want more details about this, just email us. And we're also running a similar event in Woolwich on Thursday on digital marketing. Again, Sybil and myself will both be there. Again, it's on digital marketing. So if anybody's interested in that, you're more than welcome to attend. But we have had some significant numbers of registrations, particularly in Greenwich, but there'll still probably be space for you if you're interested. I think I've taken those two questions there. Any other questions that people have for me? Sorry, Celia, you say, is that only in person? This is the event in which event is it? Can you just tell me? Save me looking at it. Sorry, you're on mute.
Hi, sorry, it's the digital marketing events that you've talked
Yeah,
about.
the only in person, and we're not filming them either, because there's lots of problems filming on council venues, so we didn't go there in the end. But I'd recommend you go in person. If you can't do that, then I think if you look on our YouTube channel, Sybil has done this presentation already. We did it a few weeks ago online. We have done it online, so you can see it on our YouTube channel. And please, everybody, it's a free resource. Please like and subscribe if you like what you see, because we are trying to build that channel up so that you can access these resources whenever you want to, because we appreciate how busy people are. Any other questions I can answer if I can? Go on.
Gary, sorry.
Jenny, go on.
If I know it might be a difficult question to answer, but if you had to recommend one of the, because there's quite a lot to take in, there's quite a lot of funding. If you had to point us in the right direction and perhaps suggest one which is quite successful and easy to do, which one would you perhaps suggest?
I'll tell you one which is easy to do at the moment. That's on Simply Business's site, because they've got a competition where you can win £25,000, and this is you put your contact details in, and it's a one paragraph box, basically. But that's not as necessarily as easy as it seems, because you have to, there are certain things they want to see. But it shouldn't take you too much time to do.
Yeah.
Again, that's if you're a private business. You can apply to that, you know, as a sole trader, like you are, Jenny, or through a company as well. There are, if you're a non-profit making organization, then there are other channels for you. For example, like the Awards for All strand of the big lottery, which is £20,000. Because I don't think we've actually got any charities on here today, but if you're a charity, then obviously there's more charitable funders for you to apply for as well. There are some charities that do support businesses as well, but there's some complexities around those, so I won't mention that now. But yeah, but those are the two easiest ones that I would say. But it does depend which sector that you're in. You know, for example, in tech funding, there's more money there. There's more money in health and well-being. One of the sectors that there's very limited funding on, but I can't see anybody from that sector on here today, because we don't work much with construction industries, trades, for example, not because we don't like them, we do, but the level of government funding for those is very, very limited. So we tend to focus in areas where there's more opportunities. I can certainly tell you where those areas are, because I know them backwards. Environmental and sustainability projects. There's quite a bit of funding out there at the moment. Health and well-being, health and social care, education and learning. And I suspect there might be more focus on that. But the difficulty with education and learning is the government's going to change its whole policy on this, and we don't know what the implications of that will be just yet. Creative industries is another one. There is funding out there, although the bar is quite high in terms of the level and standard of applications on creative industries, but there are quite a lot of funders in that particular area. So I think those are the main areas. There's probably a few others as well, but those are the principal ones.
Thanks, Gary. Yeah, that's helpful. Thank you.
Yeah. But you know, you've got to, the thing about this, all of this is not rocket science. You know, it's a lot of it, 75% of it is research. You do your research and then you learn how to write a bid. Writing bids is not rocket science. There's a presentation, our most viewed presentation online is how to write a funding application for beginners. Nearly 1,500 people have watched it, you know, which is great, although it's boring. I can tell you now, you have to listen to me for an hour. But I do explain the main elements of it. But you know, you're not born a bid writer. It's a technique you can learn. You just have to practice. You know, it's like anything else. It's like riding a bike, you know, or learning to drive a car. You drive around the block first, and then eventually you can go on the motorway or whatever. That's what I would allude it to. So you just have to get the techniques right. I mean, I know the stats. If you write a bid unaided and not doing any research, you've got about a 5% chance of succeeding. If you take on a bid writer, that increases significantly, probably up to at least 20%. But there's, you know, a tip of, you know, maybe I'm doing myself out of work here, but I like to be honest because it's the best way. You know, however skilled the bid writer is, there's no guarantee that they're going to succeed. This is a risk. So if you do it yourself, it's a risk. If you pay somebody to do it, that's a risk as well. And they can't guarantee that they are going to succeed. And anybody who tells you they can guarantee to succeed, you should be very wary of, because we don't say that. What we say, it's a risk. It's not about certainties. It's about probabilities, and you have to factor that in. because that's one of the things that we will do. We'll focus on funders where you're more likely to get funded, you know, because there's no point. If I go to presentations by funders, the first question I ever ask, if I get to ask a question, is what is the success rate of your applications? And you can often see this on the websites or annual reports as well, because I went to one recently and it was very good funded, but the success rate was 10%. So in other words, it's a 90% failure rate. So why would you want to bid for that? You want to find one where the success rates are higher. That might be down your list. But people don't always, you know, these are just some techniques, really. There are ways, as I say, of gleaning what the success rates are. I mean, or you can ask the funder. Reputable funders will tell you. City Bridge Trust, who I mentioned, I think they say their success rate is about 25%. You know, but they do vary, and some are higher and some are lower. And the other thing it depends on is what time of year you apply, surprisingly, because if you apply in December, you're going to get less applications than in September, probably. And the same in August, you're going to get less applications than, say, April or May. And that increases your chances of success, because what you can't legislate for is how many other people are applying at any particular time. So there are some secrets of the trade. The other thing you should ask bid writers is, are they a member of a professional body? Because we are members of the Chartered Institute of Fundraising, which is one of the professional bodies. That's the biggest one. And we abide by the code of conduct. Because I used to see a lot of people, particularly who wrote European funds, who's funding bids. But these may come back, because some are coming back now saying that they would do it on a payment by results basis and that they would succeed. Well, they'd have to be very, very good to do that, you know, and one wonders on their motivation on that, because, you know, those are difficult applications to write. The most difficult applications to write currently are ones to Innovate UK. So that's another piece of advice I would give you, unless it's a sort of very small new fund, because they do have some new funds, because, for example, they've had some for women tech entrepreneurs. They're relatively easy to write, but the mainstream one, the Smart Grant application, will, if you do a full bid, that would take me probably about a week. Remember, I'm an experienced bid writer, so probably most of you would take up to 2 weeks to do that. So do you want to spend 2 weeks writing a bid that may not succeed? See, these are the kind of things you need to weigh up. And then with Innovate UK, you may end up funding up to 55% of the project yourself. So where are you going to get the other money from? These are the kind of things you need to weigh up. But of course, that's what we will weigh up as professional bid writers, because I'm often telling people, you know, for example, I've got quite a few clients that want to apply for the largest strand of the lottery. And I say to them, you haven't got a track record. You've got to start at a lower level and then build up. And once you've got a track record, then you've got more of a chance of doing it. But there's still quite a lot to apply for out there if you know where to look. And hopefully I've given you a lot of information that you can search this morning to take that on. Okay, I've kind of talked a lot this morning, which I don't always want to do. I'd rather you talked. Well, oh yeah, from Claire, can you apply for more than one lot of funding? Yes, is the answer to that in a nutshell. But I've mentioned the lottery. You can't apply to the same funder at the same time, because, for example, somebody asked me this question the other day. The lottery have got a number of strands of funding. They've got one up to £20,000 and one up to £500,000. You can't apply at the same time for the same project, because two funds could be covering the same project, if you understand what I mean. But if it's a separate funder, then yes, you can apply, because, you know, there's no guarantee that all of them are going to succeed. If they do, then you're a great bid writer and I'll be wanting to employ you. But if that happens, then talk to the funder about it, you know, because they will usually give you additional funding. Sorry, I'm just looking at Claire's dog here. Are you are you organising that to do fundraising work? There you go. There's plenty of that's another area I forgot to mention. There's plenty of money for support of animals and canine charities, because you know how much we love animals in the UK. So yeah, there's plenty of funders for that, although we don't do much work in that area. Okay, then I can't see any more questions today. So thank you very much for all attending today. I hope you'll come to our other events. I hope those of you who are interested will inquire about joining our other programs. And we are bid writers as well. And if anybody wants a quote for bid writing, we're happy to give you that, because we give all of them in writing. And we'll try and support your requirements. So thank you all very much today, and I look forward to seeing you all again. Take care.